Leadership has to sometimes wear multiple hats because you got to pick up where you don't have anyone to fill in, right?
That's true.
You have to be able to know how to do those things.
Well, I will say something, but I'm sure that you already know this yourself with this huge, incredible endeavor that you have here with kids and other things, right? Is that you have to have a very loyal and committed team that loves you.
Say that last part. Hello, and welcome to the Leadership Reality Podcast with your girl, Tige Charity. This podcast is for C-suite leaders to discuss their experiences and provide insight, encouragement, and inspiration for seasoned and inspiring leaders, offering valuable solutions to today's challenges that will inspire, ignite, and invigorate new and seasoned leaders to walk in their God-given authority with compassion, kindness, and empathy. So sit back, relax, and be prepared to be inspired with today's episode of Leadership Reality. Thank you. Welcome to another episode of Leadership Realities with me, Tige Charity. Today's guest is a superstar, y'all, Miss Tamika Lamison. Tamika is a Virginia native, a graduate of American University, Howard University, and New York Film Academy. Her debut screenplay, Jay by the Jar, was a Sundance finalist and won multiple awards, including the Jordan Parks Indie Film Award. She has earned prestigious honors like the ABC Walt Disney Fellowship, CBS Directors Initiative, and AFI's Directing Workshop for Women, where she created an award-winning show, or short, I should say, called Hope. Tamika founded the Make a Film Foundation, which fulfills film wishes for children with life-threatening conditions by partnering them with top industry talent. She produced the Tribeca award-winning doc Ferguson Rises and the short Superman Doesn't Steal, based on her true story, which has won several film festival awards, including Oscar qualifiers. Currently, she is expanding Superman Doesn't Steal into a feature as part of Dan Lynn's Ride Back Rise Fellowship and won Brave Makers Pitch Fest for her project Faith by Fire. She is also a finalist for the Series Fest, Shondaland's Women Directing Mentorship Program. Her Superman feature was selected for Gotham's Market's Shorts to Feature program. A champion of diversity, Tamika created Commercial Directors Diversity Program for the Directors Guild of America and the Association of Independent Commercial Producers, and have helped develop the Academy Gold program. She's developing multiple TV and film projects, including 2 series sold to Searchlight and Paramount. Hello. Welcome to the show, Tamika. See, I told y'all, superstar, okay? You know, I'm lying to you now.
That's a lot to live up to, but thank you for that.
Girl,
Clearly you guys dumped the long bio in there instead of the short bio.
Look, let me tell you, you are doing all the things, and we are so happy to be just sitting back and watching, and so grateful that you said yes to come.
Oh my gosh, it's such a pleasure and an honor to be here. You know how much I love your organization.
Thank you.
And just has been amazing to see you guys grow over the years and all of the purpose and commitment and love that's poured into kids. I just, it's inspiring and it's aspirational and inspirational all day long.
I appreciate it. Well, look, I appreciate all the work you do. And like I said, I've been sitting back on the sideline watching all of these winning announcements. I'm like, this girl, winning season. I love it. And I got a chance to see your film, Superman Doesn't Lie. And when I tell you...
Or steal.
Jesus. I'm giving it a new name.
That's okay, girl.
Superman Doesn't Steal. I'm too busy telling y'all.
It all works, though, for the theme of the film.
Look, but it was so good. I know one day I was telling, when I saw it in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
I was talking with one of your producers, and I was like, oh my God, Superman Doesn't Fly was so good. She was like, no, not Fly Steal. I was like... Yes, you're right. Superman doesn't
I love
steal.
it.
Okay? He don't lie.
He don't steal.
None of that.
Sometimes he may fly.
He may fly. But no, seriously, thank you so much. And I just want to really dive into all of the amazing things that you're doing, and especially with your foundation, Make a Film Foundation. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I've been doing Make a Film Foundation for about, gosh, I always say 15 years. It was more like going on 20, I think.
Are you
Because I think you
serious?
and I started maybe around
Around
the same time.
Did you start in 2009?
Yeah, right around there. I think it was
Oh my
2000,
gosh.
somewhere between 2007, 2008. You know, so
Okay.
yeah, we were sort of right around the same
the same
time.
time.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I was someone basically. I won't tell you the whole crazy
No,
story.
please. That's why we're here, girl. I want to hear it all.
Well, I mean, basically, you know, so I had a script that I wrote, and it was my first script. It sold for 6 figures. It was like
Yes,
amazing.
of
We all were
course.
happy about that.
I know, that's
but
right.
then, you know, Hollywood story, the check was bad. So,
No.
yes, it was bad. So,
gosh.
yeah, I was like, it totally like threw me for a loop. So I just never really wanted to feel like that again. So I wanted to empower myself and sort of, I was like, I need to use my gifts and my talents to sort of give back so that I'm more in control of how I feel about the use, my purpose, all of that, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just focusing on grabbing the brass ring or whatever.
Yeah.
So I started to do a lot of volunteer work all over the state, and screenwriting, filmmaking, theater, all the things. And then someone asked me if I could do anything, what would it be? And I said, well, aside from filmmaking, I would grant wishes to the kids in the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I thought, you know what, I should combine those two passions. And I did, and created Make a Film Foundation. And the rest is history.
Here we are.
Yeah.
And you've had some amazing industry talent to come through and work with the young people.
Hollywood really
you
showed
serve.
up. They can when they, you know, people don't know, right?
Exactly. But you know, I really do think Hollywood love the give back. And when you're able to allow
Yes.
them to give back while doing something they
That
love,
they love,
I think that's the
yes.
recipe.
I think
Right?
so.
They
Yeah.
show up because it's like, I'm going to do this anyway.
That's
and
the
God
secret
knows
sauce.
that is the secret sauce. And they make enough money when they, you know, when they,
Okay.
some of the Hollywood professionals I've seen on your projects and where we've had to, y'all make enough money. So
Yeah.
this give back should feel real good.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. So tell me about leadership. When did you first start, or first notice yourself as a leader, or recognize yourself as a leader, or took on a project as a leader?
So, you know, that's interesting. So I don't wanna sort of put leadership and bossy in the same sort of
Girl, it is what it is.
A little bit of bossy quality in the whole leadership game, right? So I
In
feel
charge.
like, yes, in charge. I think there's a couple of things in that. I always have been somebody who wanted to, my default is service. Like, how can I help, right? Which I
Yeah.
really believe is a leadership quality.
Absolutely.
It's how can I help, problem solving as well, right?
Yes.
So I feel like those are just a part of who I am as a person.
Okay.
And so building upon that is, once you show up as a person who is, how can I help, and you actually have a gift of problem solving, then I think you become a natural leader, because people then start looking to you to help
Absolutely.
and to problem solve.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
At 100%.
Yeah.
Because we all need problem solvers.
Yes, we do.
right?
Yeah.
Honey, in today's climate, we're looking for a problem. I'm going to leave that alone. But tell me, in terms of from employment, because I know you have your foundation, but you also still work in the industry.
Yeah.
What is your current role? Like, you have, I mean, leadership, you have teams that work under you. Talk to me
Yeah.
about that a little bit.
So right now I run a diversity and inclusion program for the Directors Guild of America and the Association of Independent Commercial Producers. And what that is we basically look for women and other historically underrepresented directors, and we want to bring them into the commercial industry.
Yes.
So like marketing and advertising, and directors specifically to direct
Yes.
commercials. I mean, it's so important. Image is so important.
100%.
And there just has never really been access for women and other historically underrepresented directors to get in there. And it makes a difference having, having, say, if you're doing something about, I don't know, Martin Luther King's birthday or whatever, right? So a commercial about that. There, you might want to see if you can get someone who has a more visceral connection to that material,
Right.
because how they create it might be different.
Absolutely.
Right? So you, so it's just really important to bring everybody into that space. So that's what we do. We bring 20 to 30 different participants every year, but it's 5 fellows. And typically what we do is we give them $25,000. We hook them up with a mentoring production company, and they get to make a commercial, a spec commercial. And they're mentored for like 6 months, and we have like 14 different workshops that gives you like every aspect of the commercial industry. And so that's what the fellows do, and we do a big showcase at the DGA at the end, right?
Okay.
But we also have other directors who come in and get to enjoy the workshops and some of the other parts of the program. So yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's opening doors
exactly
for underrepresented women of color.
That's right.
To have that, and we need that. We need advocates. We need people like you, and companies like the DGA who's willing and open to even allowing that type of position to come in and and create these opportunities.
Exactly.
But girl, how do you select you said 5?
So yeah, it's 5. So
oh Lord,
it's so hard, which is why
I can only imagine.
It is so hard. There's so much talent out there. So you never listen to people who are like, well, where are we going to find these amazing directors and women? I'm like, they're everywhere. What are you talking about? It's like so many. I always joke that we come to fisticuffs when we're trying to figure out who to choose. Right? It's like, well, it could be 50 of these directors. All 50 of them could be in this program. We have to figure out how to choose 5. So what we do is once we choose the 5, so they have to submit a reel. They submit a bio resume, and they submit a video intro, so we can kind of get to know them as well, right? And what we have done is expand it so that, yes, it's 5 fellows who get the money and the mentorship, but we also allow the finalists, so it's like 15 to 20 finalists, to come in and actually network and be in the room when we're doing our workshops.
Oh, well, that's nice.
With the panelists, exactly. And they get to come to some of the other little pieces of the program as well. And then like field trips that we do. We just did a field trip to Digital Domain, and we have one to RE Cameras and Fuse, where they get to see this big, those big stages with like, what do you call it? It's like a semicircle scrim or screen, and they shoot all this stuff on it. Like, I feel like I should know the technical term.
Is it like a 3D type of
It's almost like that, yeah, but like where you can do all of your stuff, and it's like a curved sort of scrim, and they get to shoot everything on it. Anyway, at Fuse, we're gonna go LED light stage, maybe, something like that. And so we get to see that, and so we do all these different field trips as well.
Wow.
And then we also have a hybrid Zoom in-person workshop. So we have about 30 directors semifinalists who get to actually be a part of the workshops via Zoom. So I was like, we have to open this up to more people. So that's how we do it.
That is absolutely incredible. So listen, with you and the team, how do y'all come together and decide? Do y'all ever have these like disagreements about, well, I think it should be this person, or I think it should be that person? How do you manage that?
Always. It's so hard because so we break it up into, there's like several phases of judging. So like let's say there's 600 people who submit. So I'll watch everything with I have 1 or 2 other people who support me. And then we cut that in half, right? And then we break those people up, and we have about 6 to 8 teams of 2 to 3 judges. They're like EPs at companies, other directors who are working, sales reps. And so they then judge, and then they choose their semifinalists, and then we put all the semifinalists into a group, then everyone watches the semifinalists, they boil it all down. Yeah, and then we get together, and once we have a group of about 20 to 25, we then talk about that group, because we know that group.
But that's still a big difference from 5.
It still is, and it's still hard. Like we're really rewatching their stuff in the midst of our judging conversations. So it's really crazy. It's hard.
Oh my God.
And we're always sad, like especially when you get to meet people who were like in the right up there. Could have been anybody, right? We're like,
right there.
Dang, man, it's like everyone's so good. And so I'm always talking about to the panelists and other people who they can network with. I'm like, it's a huge pool of talent.
Yeah.
It's the 5 are amazing. It's not just the 5 though.
Right. It's
all of these directors are amazing. So you
if
gotta
we
get
had
to
the
know
funding,
them.
every last one of them would be part of the program.
Exactly.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
I would say everyone would get the money. Let's put
Yes,
it that way.
everyone would get the money. Absolutely,
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
do have these layers and things that they can
Exactly.
participate in. So I'm sure you probably have people DMing you all the time, sending you messages all the time, buying you coffee all the time.
Not as much as you would think. And I'm very accessible. So if people send me their reel or if they reach out to me, I pretty much get in touch with anybody and I try to. Yeah, I know, right? But what she said, coffee and lunch,
Right? That was the hardest part for me when I was doing casting, because I started, doing casting. And for me, it was just a clever way to make sure my husband got cast in projects because I'm married to an actor. So I was like, let me see, how can I join you on, booking some. But it was so hard because I wanted to give everybody the same role. I was like, you get the job, you get I was feeling like Oprah as a casting director. I wanted to cast everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, that's hard. And you can't. It's just impossible. You can't cast multiple people for one role. But they would just, buy coffee and want to do it. I'm like, I can't. Like, I don't even want to because I don't want to give you false hope.
Yeah.
And really, casting directors, I don't really have the final say. I could just bring you in to the role, but the decision's really not mine to make.
And that is what I tell people, which is the truth. I'm like, I don't really make the final decision.
Right.
I mean, the most I could do is make sure you get in the big batch,
right?
The second big batch,
right?
But you still got 2 or 3 rounds that I have nothing to do with. Okay, so
that is the hard part.
But I have those conversations. But I can talk to people about the business, right, and talk to them about ways that they can improve their application, right? Things that the judges look for. So I don't have any problems giving people that kind of insight to make their application better and things that I know that they can do that would probably, help their application get through to another round.
That's very kind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. Now, as a filmmaker, and especially a producer, when you're putting all of these pieces together, what is probably the most challenging part of being a filmmaker? Because you got award-winning films, so you're doing something right that you can share with the listening audience. Like, how do you make it all work?
Man, it's really hard. I mean, especially like the film that I just did, Superman Doesn't Steal. For one thing, it was a personal story.
Yeah.
But also, I wore a lot of hats. Yes. I was a writer, director, producer, and actor. Like, so I was doing all 4 of those things actively the entire time. The entire time. So it was.
How long did it take you to shoot it?
We were slated to shoot it in 4 days, but we had to add an extra day, so we shot 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think, because some people just don't really know all of the nuances that go into, producing a film and being part of a film, and then as a producer, director, and you wore multiple hats.
It was a lot. Yeah.
And leadership has to sometimes wear multiple hats because you got to pick up where you don't have anyone to fill in, right?
That's true.
You have to be able to know how to do those things?
Well, I will say something, but I'm sure that you already know this yourself with this huge, incredible endeavor that you have here with kids and other things, right? Is that you have to have a very loyal and committed team that loves you.
Say that last part. That loves you. Do I have team members out here that love me, that's working the show today?
They got to love you, okay? Because
it's above and beyond.
It is above and beyond.
It's not a normal 9 to 5.
No, it's not normal. You're not really. We're not. Well, I'm not at that level where I'm paying people a whole bunch or what they're. Let's just say what they're worth.
Absolutely.
Yes, not paying them what they're worth. So they have to know that I love them and that I'm going to take care of them as best as I can, right where I am, right? And they have to know that about you. So there's a certain trust and loyalty where you're going to be there for each other, and even when things get a little testy. I always say, let's have this conversation now. We're all going to get a little testy because we don't have a lot of money and things are going to get weird.
So you have that up front.
Right. But so when that happens, we all know we love each other, right?
Right.
And this thing is going to end, and we're still going to go hang out and have fun and love each other after.
At the end of the day.
There'll be some little moments, we all know
End
that.
of the day.
At
It's
the
so
end of the
funny
day.
because I know I talk to my team about some of those things. Because
Yeah.
holding accountability is hard.
Yes.
Confrontation is hard. Like I just one that I don't like it. I do it because I have my
Yes.
team probably think I like confrontation. Now that I'm thinking about it. But I don't like it. But the thing about it, at the end of the day, I tell them, but if you know my heart,
Right.
if you know then you know this
Yeah.
is not personal.
Right.
Then you know there's no reason to be offended. There's no reason, because we all working toward the same goal. And that's to
Exactly.
change lives and open pathways
Yes.
for these young people who we serve. So
Yes.
if we all got that understanding,
And we have to all know that we're going to support each.
Yes.
This is what's happening now. Maybe you feel like you're giving a little bit more to this project right now, but the next one, it might be me.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It might be the one.
Your
going.
turn. Your
Yes,
turn.
exactly. So
Your turn.
as long as we know that, and some of the people that I work with, and I know this is the same for you as well. I've worked with them for years.
Yeah.
Like years.
Yeah.
So we've been in the battle, we've been in the trenches, all the things for a really long time.
And y'all
So
know each other's, you
we
know how
each
you
other.
work, but the funny
Yeah.
thing is especially with an organization, like you're building an organization.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have new people that want to come and align and be a part of it and come into the culture that you've already established.
Yeah.
How do you manage that when you have new people on the team that now wants to be a part and
So that's interesting because I have learned that I have to adapt as well. Like just because I've been doing it all this way the whole time doesn't necessarily mean that it was the best way to be doing it all the
That's
time.
good.
So I know that I as a leader have to adapt.
That's good.
And listen and just like everybody else does, right? So I really have learned to hear people out. That's the real thing. Like I also learned sometimes people just need to be heard. Even if you already know that it's a no.
Right.
And that they are wrong.
Right,
we
right,
ain't
right.
doing that.
We ain't-
We just ain't
have
doing
your
it.
moment. We ain't doing that.
It's not gonna happen.
Right.
But
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. I
Yeah.
do want to hear what you have to say and then actually hear them.
Yeah.
And think about it and go, I thought about it last night and the night before. I'm gonna think about it in this moment, but
Right.
it's no.
But it's still, it just ain't happening.
Yes.
It ain't happening.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah.
But and do it in a way that is genuine, authentic.
Yeah.
And that, they know that they were heard.
Yeah.
So you could actually talk to them about the reason, well, this is why we're doing it this way.
Yeah.
And this is what that looks like. Maybe in the future we could do something a little different, but right now this is what we're doing and why. So
That's
that
so
it makes
good.
sense.
That's a sign of a good leader, okay? Because look, girl, I have to work on that because I'm like, no, can't do that. Sorry, that don't even make sense.
Yeah.
But it is, as human nature, we all want to be heard,
Wanna be
right?
heard, yeah.
We all want to be heard, and we want people to feel comfortable with being able to share
Yes.
their thoughts and ideas. Because you just might, by listening, I've heard some things like, now that's good. I hadn't thought
Yeah.
about that. Let's at least try it.
Yes.
Let's at least try it and see how it goes. But what
Exactly.
about managing people with one another? I know how they work with you and they
Yeah.
understand that. Have you had any challenges with teams that were working together that didn't quite?
Yes. I'll tell you one anecdote. So we were doing this project, and it was a big one. It had all the, some stars on it and all these other things. And as you know, the first AD is such a huge part of the job when you're, especially like we were working with A-list actors, some A-list actors, children. We had a dog. Like we had a lot of stuff going on in this particular project. And so the first AD was super important. And so it was a friend of the director who had directed some big movies. And he was just, something was happening with him. He was going through something. He was just surly. And we're, the sets that we sort of create are full of love and altruism, and everyone's in a good mood and all of this stuff. And the guy was just surly.
Really?
And I was like, this isn't, what's happening? This is not gonna work. And so I talked to one of my producers and I was like, well, I mean, it's the director's guy. What are we going to do? She said, you have to talk to him. You have to talk to him. I was like, I'm going to talk to the director first. Maybe there's something we don't know. So I
Right.
talked to the director, and he said he's going through a really, really bad divorce right
Oh,
now.
Lord.
He said he said it's really bad. He was married for a long, and it's not a nice, you know, it was
Yeah,
a
it's an
very
ugly situation.
ugly situation. So I said, oh, that's so good to know. Thank you for sharing that.
Right.
And I didn't talk. So I went to the first AD, and this was hard for me too. I do not like confrontation. Right. This is like an older dude who'd been in the business forever, and I'm like some little young.
Right.
I look like pulling him aside.
Right. Messing about
Right. To talk to
vibe.
him.
We got a
So I was
vibe
like,
here.
I gotta do it. It's really the whole, you know, because it's a trickle down.
Yes.
He talks to everyone.
Yes.
You know? And so I pulled him aside. I was like, I just wanted to tell you, you know, I just wanted to presence you with the kind of what we're doing here. You know, these we're dealing with kids who are dying. I just said it, you know, and their dream wish, and everyone here is working for free. And I went on and I was like, we all have stuff. I didn't talk about his business, right? I just said, we all have all these other things going on in our life. And a lot of people just shed that when they come here and embrace this for what it is, being able to altruistic show up and give something in this moment with our purpose.
Yes.
I was like your
leading
purpose.
with your heart. You're bringing your heart into this.
And I said, your purpose is, you know, you're this an incredible first AD. And that's what you're doing here. And we have all these people here who are, they're looking to you to lead with that spirit.
Wow.
And everything changed. It was,
You did a
everything was
360.
different after
Really?
that. It really was. I was like, and he said, I hear you. I understand.
Wow.
And literally, and I was like, I wanted to cry because I knew this guy was dealing with his own stuff.
Right.
And he has to be here. And I was like, oh, so maybe he was able to just really understand where and maybe he could have even used it as an escape for a moment. Do you know what I mean? But whatever it was, he was able to get past it for the time that he needed to be there.
The power of just effective communication and also empathy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you led that conversation with empathy, but you also led that conversation with knowledge.
Yeah.
Like, let me find out first if I can see what's going on, then I'll know how to approach him. That's so good because this industry, we're a fast-paced environment.
Oh my gosh.
On production, so everything needs to flow, you know, quickly, and everybody is in the moment. But just working with terminally ill young people, that's got to be really hard, Tamika.
It is hard. I say it's bittersweet. Some are harder than others because, you know, like our last one, Anthony Conti. So he was a 16-year-old boy. He had adrenal cancer, stage 4. And so, I mean, there was a real ticking time clock on his life. And when they actually reached out, I initially said no because I was like, we have to raise money. We're like a nonprofit film. We don't have any money. We usually raise money per project, right? And they were like, yeah, we don't know. It could be any day. That's how they were talking to me. He could die any day now. And I was like, what do you guys want? I mean, we can't. And they said, well, just read the letter. We're going to have him send you a note. So they sent the note, and I was like, oh, now I have to do it.
Oh, wow. So how do they find you? Is it like somebody at the hospital that knows about your organization?
So a bunch of different ways. In this instance, he had known about, he talks about this in his behind the scenes.
Okay.
So he had known about the organization before he knew he was sick. Somehow he had learned about the organization and knew about it.
Oh, wow.
And then when he got sick and got his diagnosis, he remembered the organization because he really was a little filmmaker himself. He would do all these YouTube videos. He had animation ones, and he was always performing on these. So he really already had the spirit and the talent of a filmmaker. Yeah. So then he remembered the organization and talked to his therapist, his music therapist, and his nurses and stuff, and said he wanted to, you know, reach out to the organization. So they reached out for him. But then he reached out with his own letter. I was like, oh my gosh, we have to do this now. We have to do it.
That's a wrap. When the babies reach out, it's like that's a wrap.
It is what it is, right?
Can't say no to the babies.
But that one was hard because we knew that he was dying in front of us. Like when he finally was on set, we saw it, like we saw it because he was insisting that he did a zombie movie. And
did he write it himself?
he wrote it.
Love it.
And he starred in it with some real big names. Can I name drop?
Good, please name drop.
For
Girl,
the organization.
look, this is name drop. That's what we do in LA. Name drop.
He started the movie with Johnny Depp, with David Lynch did a cameo with Laura Dern.
Are you serious?
J.K. Simmons was in it. Yeah, he had some serious. Jake
all-star
Peddington, an all-star cast. Chad Coleman, all these amazing actors were in his film. And then he had 3 directors because it was a 5-day shoot, expanded to a 5-day shoot. Typically it's like a 2 or 3 day shoot. We try to do it on the weekend so everybody can do it.
Right.
Because they're all doing it for free.
Right.
But it expanded to a 5-day shoot because we got Sam Raimi on it, who directed Superman.
Yes.
And he was like, 2, 3, 4. This is not enough. We need it. I was like, oh my gosh. We're a nonprofit film company.
Right.
So then
keep throwing that up. We need to wear.
And then I was like, are you going to direct
nonprofit?
Right? He was like, actually, no.
Oh gosh.
So we had Catherine Hardwicke, who directed Twilight, and Ted Melfi, who directed Hidden Figures. So we had these 3 directors. They each did a couple of days, and all these stars. And I mean, he had such an incredible experience, right? But at one point, it was like this scene where he was saying goodbye to the quote unquote love interest in his film, and he was insisting that he be able to stand. He was like, no wheelchairs. I don't want anyone to know that I'm sick. In my movie, I will have bitten by a zombie, so you can see me. Because it's sort of like the zombie thing for him was, what do you call it? A metaphor for his disease, right? And so he said, but I don't want anyone to know that I'm sick. I want on the big screen for people to see me like my healthy self in this movie.
Are you serious?
That's what he wanted. So there was none of that, other stuff. No wheelchairs, nothing. So at one point he was so weak he couldn't stand. And this was a very important scene. So we were like, okay, we're gonna do another scene. We have to shut things down because we're gonna build a rig that for him to sit on in which it looks like he's standing. So that's how, and so all of the team came together to do that, and it was at that moment that they really knew what they were doing. Like we had these big, crew guys who were like, very moved. You could see that they wanted to cry because they were like, oh my God, this kid, this is real. This kid is, really sick.
Yeah.
And so that sort of, everyone came to, that's kind of the moment in that film where we all, everybody's like, whoa, this is what we're doing. And I understand why we're doing this.
So
now.
What's the name of the film?
Oh, I'm sorry. That one is called The Black Ghiandola.
The Black Ghiandola.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is an Italian word. So
where can we see it?
So you can see the trailer on our website at makeafilmfoundation.org, but we send the film out
to festivals and things like that?
Yeah, well, we send it out to people. If they want it, we just have them donate whatever they want, and then we send it to them.
Okay.
Yeah, we still send movies like DVDs and links.
We do too. And people like, we have a DVD player?
Right, exactly. I'm like, well,
exactly.
Nice. You got the little jacket and the things.
Wow. So I know his parents and family must just be overwhelmed.
So it was very overwhelming for his family. Ironically, he was estranged from his dad and his mom. And his dad, he had to have a guardian come when he came to shoot in LA.
Okay.
And he didn't really want his dad to come because they were estranged. But we were like, okay, well, you have to make a choice because you have to have a guardian.
Oh, Dad was going to show up for them superstars, honey.
This is right. It's true. And I was like, your dad is the one who can do it. So he... after we put it to him that way, he was like, okay, fine. But what was great about it is the added gift was the relationship that happened between him and his dad.
Oh, don't make me cry.
They literally healed their relationship in these 4 or 5 days. It was crazy. Like his dad still posts about him, on his birthday and all of that stuff. None of that stuff was going on. It changed his dad. It changed him. And, you know, even to the point where it was an accelerated experience for them because his dad was taking care of him, but there was still the teenage stuff going on where you don't know what you're a teenager. You're going to have your little disagreements and stuff. But it's like you're disagreeing with someone who hasn't really been in your life that long. So you're like, wait,
what is going
we're
on
accelerating
here?
this process.
What is going on?
But even so, Anthony was like, but that's my dad. And he was, you know, it was like, oh my God, it was crazy. It was,
my
yeah. So bittersweet. I say bittersweet because.
So did he get to see the finished film?
did.
Please tell me. Okay,
He did. We did a huge screen. Well, we did 3 screenings. We did one posthumously at his high school because they, yes, for him, and they did a big, huge
that is
thing.
amazing.
It was wonderful. And we did one in his hospital where friends, family, doctors all came to see it. And then we did one at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, their big theater.
Oh my
their big Samuel Golden
Was he
theater.
able to come to that?
That one was posthumous, but all the cast and crew was there. It was huge. It was like 800 people there. It was incredible. Yeah, it was a really big deal. Yeah.
Wow. So how did you get the talent though? How were you able to get like the Johnny Depps and how did you do that?
So obviously everything is a you know, collaboration, right?
Yeah.
So I had a in team, like we keep talking about team. Where there's no I in team.
Hey, there's no I in team, honey.
But
exactly.
really great team. So some of it is my personal relationships.
Okay.
Some of it is so when we had a casting director / producer, Adele Jones, and she was also she was an actress, but she was also a casting director.
Okay.
So like she actually was on a show that David Lynch was directing at the time. So she was able to just ask him directly, which was amazing, right?
Yes.
So so she was really great with just reaching out to people, and a lot of times because of what it is, I mean, you say it's like Make-A-Wish, but with film.
But with
That's
film.
such a shorthand. People
Right.
get it
And
immediately.
people understand exactly what it is.
They know exactly
So you
what
don't
it
have
is.
to push it, you don't have to sell it, you don't have
No.
to pitch it, I should say. You just present
You just say
it.
what it is.
Exactly.
And if people are available, they typically say yes.
Yeah.
And we have established a bit of a reputation now for our films and stuff. So, oh yeah, that, you know, like people do ask us, when are you doing another one? I'm like, when we get some more money.
What's it
I don't know.
Look, still take, even with the volunteers, it takes a lot of
It
money
does take
because
money.
all of the other things
Yes.
that come with
There are hard
filmmaking.
costs. There's
There are
hard
hard
costs
costs,
that people don't really know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't. I say just feeding cast and crew is expensive.
That's expensive
You
too.
know, my young
Yeah.
people, they're like, oh,
Insurance, right? You gotta have
gosh.
insurance and all these other things. Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, guys, we'll have pizza. Pizza? I'm like, okay, now we don't eat pizza on set. What we doing?
No,
You know?
pizza is like for a break or lunch.
Exactly.
You gotta have
That's like-
salmon and chicken.
Pizza is craft services now. That's how they
Right?
think of
No.
pizza. They don't
You have
think
a
of
real
pizza.
meal.
But wow, that is so amazing and so encouraging. Is that the last project that you've worked
So
on?
that's
with
the
this?
last. So we also have documentary projects.
And they're short films, right?
They're all shorts.
Okay.
They're all shorts. So we've done about 100 short documentaries.
Okay.
And then we've done 4 of the short narrative ones that really I feel like we're really known for.
Okay.
Right. With the stars in them and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Right. And so that was the last of those. But we have done some documentary things. Like we did one in Harrisonburg, Virginia, for a little girl out there who had a heart condition. And we actually started that one just before COVID, and then we couldn't finish it because my brother got really sick and then COVID happened. So it took like a couple of years after COVID, and then we were able to finally get that project together and finish it and go out there and share it with her community and her family and stuff.
Wow.
So sometimes it takes a little bit of extra whatever, but yeah.
But it's just amazing that you can have time to really focus on doing that for those young people when you got your other, job and projects.
It's
I'm
really
sure.
tough. Like I would say, my ultimate goal is to have this organization expand so that I've said this for a long time, but now I have to really make it happen so that I'm rendered not necessary.
Oh, you speaking my love language. Hold on, I'm going to drink to that, girl. People think you did.
I'm like, no, I don't really I love this organization. I
do
would be a
too.
part of it. And I
do
mean,
too.
but I would be really happy to allow it to
Pass the baton.
fly. Yes, and just let this thing do what
Let
it
it
needs
live.
to do. Yeah,
Let it
so that's
live.
ultimately what I still would like to have happen, because I do have my own personal dreams and things that I, and so really I decided, because of the strikes and everything, that's really why, this year has been sort of a focus on my film, because I was like, well, no one's doing anything. This is a time for me to really focus and do that thing, because it's a dual
really
strike.
happening.
People
Right.
are available that I'm not going to be able to get when they go back to work.
You better strike while the iron is hot, right?
No pun intended.
Right, no pun intended.
Yes, exactly. So I was able to do that. So, so that's what's happening now, but I'm still looking to expand. I want to be like you. I'm trying to have me a building.
Look.
But I say have me a building, but I'm trying to have a building for the organization so that I can come visit and be like,
visit.
look at what y'all are doing.
Y'all
This
doing a
is
great job.
amazing.
Y'all doing a great job.
Invite me to a screening. I want to see.
We're working on that.
Right.
We're working on that part.
Yes.
And I think I'm at a place where my heart is really going out and spreading the word about what we do, spreading the message about what we do, and getting other light barriers to, like, oh my gosh, I never thought of foster youth. Foster youth was just not a part of my conversation, not a part of my thought process, and now it is.
Yes.
Like, that's what I want to do. Even if people are not donating directly to our organization, which I would want them to, but the fact that they're looking into foster care.
The awareness.
Exactly.
It makes such a huge difference.
Exactly.
It's a huge impact.
That's what I want.
And it's dual, because it's people out there understanding and then deciding to
get involved.
Right. But it's also the kids that you're working with and building them up and them being able to fly in a whole different way. And it's so many things. Understand themselves and heal and all the things.
All of that. So I can send them to the DJ in your program and be like, all right, now go see Tamika. Go see Tamika. Now you got to go through a whole process, but I'm going to send them over there.
But you got a little leg up.
Yes, you got a little leg up. I love that. I love that. So I know they're telling me I have to wrap it up. I hate when they tell me that. It's so annoying. But anyway, they said I have to wrap it up.
Meanies.
Right? Exactly. But before we wrap it up, tell me, give me 3 words that your team would use to describe you.
Ooh.
Your leadership, I should say, your leadership style.
My leadership style. Wow. I think they would say I am effusive.
Ooh, I like.
Gentle. And what's a nice word for bully?
Assertive.
I'm like a
gentle giant.
A gentle bully.
A gentle bully. There we go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
I wish those words were more inspiring.
No, but you know what?
I'm trying to be authentic. They're like, you're so sweet, but how do you? But you're like a sweet bully. You're making us do this, but you're doing it in such a nice way.
But look, all I know is she keep winning. Okay, so something is right. All right. So if that's what bullying look like,
I'm not really. No, she's not. I'm really not a bully.
She's very gentle.
I'm very gentle.
That is the word for her. She is gentle and very kind. So thank you so much again. This was amazing. We could spend a whole day just chatting about your career, all of the successes, your organization, and just all the things.
Well, thank you.
All the things.
I mean, it's such an honor to be here. I'm so proud of you. You have no idea.
Well,
for
I appreciate
all
you.
the things.
Because I know you've shown up on a kid set and volunteered and helped with production. So I'm
always talk
grateful.
about you and try and get people to be involved in the organization as well. So
Thank you. I love it. See, y'all, we spread the love, okay? We are spreading the love. Well, that's it, y'all, for today. I am so bummed. I don't want to end. Y'all know I struggle with landing the plane, and I'm especially struggling right now because I'm enjoying so much of my conversation with Tamika. But I hope that you have gained some insight, some nugget, some gem that you can take and use on your leadership journey. So until next time, remember those 3 magical words: like, subscribe, and share. See you next time. Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for today. I hope you were inspired and you gained some valuable nuggets that will help you to become a better leader and to walk in your God-given authority. Bye until next time.